What's up, everybody? This is your favorite cousin Rich, and today we're going to do a psychological analysis of the artist David. Yeah, the one who has all this craziness going on in the news. We're going to talk about him. We're going to see what's going on up here. Let's get into it. So, just a brief bio. He was born David Anthony Burke, March 28th, 2005, in Queens, New York. Eventually, his family moved to Houston, Texas. Now pay attention to this. He was raised exclusively listening to gospel music until the age of 13, and he was homeschooled until he was in 7th grade. Now, how did he get famous? For his hit Romantic Homicide, which was released July 2022. It went viral on TikTok, like all the young kids nowadays. And he signed with Dark Room and Interscope Records in September 2022. Now, a brief psyche breakdown. What I concluded about Mr. David is that he has immature stardom, arrested development, narcissism, and proximity to violent criminal context. But guess what? We're going to break all these down. Let's get into it. Now, immature stardom. The definition: fame achieved before full emotional and social development, causing growth to stall. Now, the mechanisms. Fame gives money, validation, and access, but it also protects people from natural consequences. Instead of learning accountability, humility, and conflict resolution, the person learns avoidance and entitlement. So, the signs in David: he went viral at 17, 18 years old, and he has a potential fixation on teen dynamics, secrecy, and drama, matching the age group where he was when fame hit. Now, psychological result: emotional maturity lags years behind actual age, creating mismatched relationships and poor decision-making. Arrested development: stalling of psychological growth at a certain age due to trauma, strict upbringing, and sudden life changes. Like fame, let's get into it. The mechanisms: early religious restriction prevented experimentation in safe ways. Also, sudden stardom: it froze him in a teenage state even though his body aged. Now, the signs in David: reported association with minors could reflect him being stuck in adolescence emotionally. Also, romantic and artistic obsessions with secrecy, forbidden love, and dark themes equal adolescent fantasy psychology. The psychological result: he chooses partners or behaviors that reflect where his development paused. Arrested development and homeschooling. Let's get into it. Homeschool kids often have less daily peer interaction, especially if their family is religious or protective. For someone like David, who was raised in a strict gospel-only household until 13, this meant his early worldview was very sheltered and narrow. Watch this. When he finally encountered wider music, gaming, and online culture, it all hit at once. He skipped gradual exposure and jumped from childhood into teen rebellion. In his case, an amplified isolation, sheltered upbringing, and overexposure to online culture, which likely fed into a kind of arrested development. Now, my favorite topic to talk about: narcissism. Definition: personality style marked by grandiosity, need for admiration, fragile self-esteem, and a lack of empathy. Mechanisms in fame: constant validation from fans reinforces self-focus. Isolation from real-world feedback weakens empathy and accountability. The signs in David: public image being special, tragic, or deeply misunderstood. Tattoos that mirror others suggest possession and image building more than authentic connections. Songs like Romantic Homicide idealize tragedy and places him at the emotional center. The psychological result: he sees relationships as an extension of himself, not equal partnerships. He's prone to secrecy and obsession if rejected. Again, prone to secrecy and obsession if rejected. You putting it together now? Prone to secrecy and obsession if rejected. Now, the narcissism and tattoos. Celesta Rivas, the victim that we all know about, have heard about right now, had the word "shh" tattooed on her right index finger. David also has the same "shh" tattooed on his right index finger. This mirroring can be read psychologically as a claiming or symbolic fusion more than just a shared interest. It suggests enmeshment, meaning we are one, or possession, you're marked like me, in the clinical sense, okay? Psychologists see this as identity enmeshment or narcissistic mirroring, using another person's body as an extension of one's own image. Now, let's talk about his hit song, Romantic Homicide. The song itself combines love and death imagery. The themes around the song revolve around a relationship so intense, it's famed as life or death, romanticizing loss, heartbreak, or even violent endings. The singer voices as the center of the tragedy. The world revolves around his pain, his heartbreak, and his suffering. Psychologically, this shows fusion of intimacy with mortality, meaning love equated with death or destruction. Now, the thing about this song is the narcissistic centering, meaning the pain is not mutual between the two partners. It's staged where he is the tragic hero. Also, this is a hallmark of adolescent and immature fantasy, tragedy as self-glorification. So, proximity to violent criminal context, meaning extreme violence connected either directly or indirectly. Now, this can go two ways, either if he's guilty or not guilty. If he's guilty, it suggests antisocial, psychopathic traits like lack of remorse, thrill-seeking, and dominance over life or death. If not guilty, it's still psychologically significant because it symbolizes, his attraction to death and art, and it eerily overlaps this crime that we see performed before our eyes. And if not guilty, it's still psychologically significant because it symbolizes his attraction to death and art, and it creates a death romance identity that eerily overlaps with this crime that we are now analyzing. Now, the signs in David. Of course, they found the body of a 15-year-old girl discovered in his Tesla. And also, this symbolically matches his artistic persona, which blurs art and life dangerously. Now, the psychological result. Either A, an externalization of internal dark fantasies into real life, or B, a tragic entanglement where his identity with death and romance made him gravitate toward risky, deadly situations. Now, the conclusion. David's story shows us what can happen when someone grows up in a sheltered world, then gets thrown into fame before fully maturing. Being homeschooled and raised into a strict religious environment limited his early social development. When he finally entered into the wider world through music and online culture, it all hit at once. Without the balance of real-world experience, this sudden leap combined with early success seemed to have frozen parts of his emotional growth. His tattoos and songs reflect the inner conflict. The tattoos mirror others in ways that looks more like ownership than true connection, while songs like Romantic Homicide romanticize pain and put him at the center of the tragedy. Together, these patterns suggest someone still working through identity, attachment, and maturity. A reminder that stardom can amplify immaturity rather than erase it. Again, this is your favorite cousin Rich, nothing personal, just a psychological breakdown. Let me know how y'all feel about this, and condolences to the family. Y'all be safe out there. Love and blessings.